Okay, looks like I'm in now.
Did you jack up the YouTube already?
Yeah, now I'm in on the YouTube now.
No, I'm about to say, it's over, brother. It's over.
Okay, yeah, I'm in on the YouTube. Okay. Okay. It's all in your hands, King.
Okay, all praises. Can you put up that link that I sent you out? We're gonna use that as a guideline for tonight's class.
Which link do you want me to put up, King? The guidelines?
Yeah, the flipping book that I sent.
Okay, the flip book. Okay. There you go. You see it?
All praises. All praises. So we can get started with tonight's class. I know the elder having counsel right now, and a few brothers and sisters ain't able to get in at this exact moment. But we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll get the ball rolling, and they'll continue to come in due process. First and foremost, I like to say, Call Halal Abanawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah Hamashiach Amanawal Barakatah. My name Qadash Alahayam. I'm here in the Las Vegas branch of HOI. We're here for our Thursday night class. We do it weekly. The brother Nadeeb did a mighty Iron Sharpen Iron class on Tuesday. It's gonna be kind of hard to follow up after that one, but I'll try to do my best. Tonight's lesson, we're gonna be going into the images of the nations. I'm gonna be going into the importance of your imagination and how to deal with intrusive thoughts when they pop into your mind. We're gonna go into the influences of those thoughts that comes from the other nations, and Lord willing, it's edifying. Coming at these scriptures from a unique or different perspective is always good. So if you can go to that first page up, go to the first page. All right. And I'm gonna make it a little bigger on my screen so I can see it. And I think you can adjust it on y'all's screen as well. If you just, tap the screen, you could make it bigger so you can see it. My reader's not in the house as of yet. They're running a little behind, so I don't have a reader right now. So I'll do the reading for now. Unless somebody out there can read. But yeah, so the first image, we're going into the Canaanites. All right, the Canaanites are our ancient arch nemesis. They used to get us to oppose the will of the Most High and follow their traditions and their ways. They would, influence us to forsake our power, Yahweh, to come follow their lifeless gods. Right? So the Canaanites were a group of ancient peoples who inhabited the region of Canaan, which roughly corresponds to modern-day Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, and parts of Syria and Jordan. Their beliefs were polytheistic, meaning they worshiped multiple gods and goddesses. Some of the major deities in the Canaanite pantheon included El, Baal, Asherah, Anat, Dagon, and Molech. Right, and you can see the images on the screen of those gods. You have El, which was their supreme god. You had Baal, which was a storm god that was associated with fertility. Asherah, the wife or consort of El. She was associated with fertility, motherhood, and the sea. Anat, a goddess of war and hunting. Dagon, a god of agriculture, fertility, and grain, and Molech, a god associated with child sacrifice. So the Canaanites, they worship all these plethora of gods that they had, and it influenced us to worship their gods when we was in their land, in the time of Abraham, years after when we made it into the promised land and we didn't kill all of them. So they stayed round about us just in case we got into some trouble or we got into sin, the Most High used them against us. Right? But these gods, these images that represented these gods, they have a powerful influence on the hearts, minds, and souls of our people. Let's start off by going to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 9. The book of Genesis chapter 6, and we're going to start at the 9th verse. just to get a little history of these people, right? When everybody got it, say Khan.
Khan.
Khan. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 9, and it reads, "These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with the Most High. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence." Right? So these Canaanites, they came out of the lineage of Ham, right? These people, they are the descendants of the children of Ham, who was Noah's oldest son, right? Let's go to the book of First Chronicles, chapter 1 and verse 8. And when everybody got it, say Khan. The book of First Chronicles, chapter 1 and verse 8.
Khan.
Khan, this is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 1 and verse 8, and it reads, "The sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, Put, and Canaan." Right? So the sons of Ham was Cush and Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Now, Cush might not sound familiar to our people, but once Esau conquered Africa, so-called Africa, because he named Africa after himself after he conquered it, he conquered countries within Africa. So you wouldn't recognize Cush, but Cush was later converted or later name changed to Ethiopia, right? So the sons of Ham was Cush, meaning Ethiopia, and Mizraim. Mizraim was translated or converted to Egypt, right? That's what we call Egypt today. Mizraim is Egypt, the Egyptians, right? So you had Cush, the Ethiopians, you had Mizraim, the Egyptians, you had Put, and then you had Canaan, right? Those are the descendants of Ham, Noah's oldest son, right? And these nations of people is the nations who the Most High told us not to be like. Don't live like them. Don't have the mindset of them. Don't think like them, right? Don't conform to none of their ways, right? Stick to the law, statutes, and commandments. Only worship the one true living power, which is Yahweh, and don't worship these idol gods that you see on the screen. You see Molech holding the baby because he was preparing for child sacrifice. He was the god of child sacrifice. And these Hamitic people would literally sacrifice children to a false god. You know, when you fast forward today and this kingdom right here in America, you know, you look on every other corner, you see a Planned Parenthood. That is the tabernacle of Molech, right? There's no new thing under the sun. These people was worshiping idols and false gods back then and doing child sacrifices back then in the ancient world, and it done spilled over into modern day times, right? Because these people are lawless, they wicked, they evil, and the Most High tell us not to be like these people, right? We're not even supposed to make marriages with their women, right? That's law. We're not supposed to make marriages with their women. Even in the book of Genesis, we wasn't allowed to make marriages with their women, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 24 and verse 1. When everybody got it, say Khan, Genesis 24 and 1.
Khan.
This says the book of Genesis, chapter 24 and verse 1, and it reads, "And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord Yahweh had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord Yahweh, the power of heaven and the power of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell." Right? So Abraham telling his servant to not take his son a wife from the daughters of the Canaanites, of the Hamitic people. Verse 4, "But thou shalt go into my country, into my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac." Right? So even in Genesis, the 24th chapter, our people were commanded to marry within their tribe. Right? We wasn't to marry outside of our tribe, outside of our lineage, because these people would take our children and raise up our children to serve their gods and neglect the one true living power. That was the whole purpose of us staying within our tribe, because we had the same belief system. The Most High didn't want us to marry outside of our belief system, because it could taint it could taint your imagination, it could taint your soul and spirit, and defile it and make your spirit unclean by marrying into these other families, these other tribes that don't know the Most High. Right? So Abraham's servant, he was obedient and did exactly what Abraham told him to do. Right? He went and got his son Isaac a wife of his own tribe, of his own family. Let's jump down to the 34th verse. Genesis chapter 24 in verse 34. And it reads, "And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and the Lord Yahweh have blessed my master greatly, and he has become great, and he have given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and men servants and maid servants and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old, and unto him have he given all that he have." Verse 37, "And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell." So Abraham was dwelling in the land of Canaan, in the land of the Canaanites. So he got to see these people, these Hamitic people, committing idolatry, whoredom, spiritual fornication against the Most High. But Abraham was faithful to the Most High. He didn't follow the ways of the Canaanites. He didn't even marry into their tribe, because he was commanded not to. Right? Verse 38, "But thou shalt go unto my father's house, into my kindred, and take a wife unto my son." And Abraham's servant did just that. Right? He was obedient to Abraham, and he went and got a rib for Isaac that was of our nation. Right? We was not to marry outside of our nation, in particular, not to marry into the family of the Canaanites. There was a powerful reason for the Most High to put that law in effect, right? Because, like I mentioned earlier, they would turn our children's hearts away from serving the Most High, right? So let's go to the timeline. Let's go to the timeline after Joseph ruled over Egypt. And even after we was delivered out of Egypt, the Most High made promises with us, and he told us what to do and what not to do. He made covenants with us and told us what to do and not to do as a nation of people. He kept reiterating these things so that we can understand, because we tend to forget. Israel, we are a forgetful people, man. That's why the Most High told us to make fringes and put the border of blue on our garments so we can look down and remember to keep the commandments, because we would let keeping the law slip our mind a little bit, right? So let's go to that timeline after Joseph and after we was delivered out of Egypt. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1. When everybody got it, say Khan. Deuteronomy 7 and 1. Right?
Con.
It's imperative that we understand the spirit of the Most High, the mindset, right? Because we, like Hamashiach Yahushua, we have to be one with the Most High, meaning having one mind, one goal, on accord with the Most High, right? It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, and verse 1, and it reads, when the Lord thy God, Yahweh thy power, shall bring thee into the land whether thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. So these Hamitic families that was round about us, they was a greater nation than us, and they was more mighty than us. They had more people, and their military was stronger. Right, verse 2. And when the Lord thy God, Yahweh thy power, shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. So those are some strict instructions, right? Those are some strict rules that the Most High gave us towards them. Thou shalt smite them, meaning we shall kill them and utterly destroy them. Don't show no mercy to these people. These are lawless enemies, most hateful forsakers of the Most High. Don't show them no mercy. Don't make no covenants with them. Don't make no marriages with them, right? Verse number 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto thy son, unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Right? So our men couldn't marry to their women, and our daughters couldn't marry their men. We was to in no way, shape, or form mingle and marry into these families, because these families worship everything outside of the Most High. Right? So verse 4, it say, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Right? So the sole purpose of us not marrying into the family of the Canaanites or the Hamitic people was because they would turn our children away from serving and following the Most High. That our children may serve other powers, lifeless God that don't exist. And the Most High said his anger will be kindled against us if we did such a thing, right? And he would destroy us suddenly, meaning it ain't going to be prosperous. It ain't going to last long if you go against his commandments. We will be, the judgment will be speedily. It will be expedient, right? Verse 5, but thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images. He said, you don't marry to their lineage or to their family, but this is how you deal with these people. You go to their temples, you tear down their altars, right? And break down their images, like the images that we see on that first page. These people would have services. These people would have different whorehouses set up on the streets, on each corner of the streets. Something like here in Babylon, you see churches, what we call whorehouses. They damn near on every corner out here in Babylon. The same way in the ancient world with the Canaanites, they had their different places of worship where they would go worship Baal or they would go worship El or Asherah or Dagon. They actually had places just like Planned Parenthood in the ancient world where they would go and sacrifice their children, right? Where they would sacrifice other people's children. The Most High said, hey, go tear down their altars. This is how you deal with these people. You go tear down their structures, they false gods. Go tear them down, right? It says destroy their altars and break down their images, right? Because, our people, we're visual people. People are visual people in general. Even the heathens, they are visual people. They like to believe in what they see. A lot of people on this earth don't have faith. Um, Faith is the substance of the things not seen, the evidence of things not seen, roughly paraphrasing. Meaning you don't have to see it to believe it, right? But people in general, they have to see things. Seeing is believing to a lot of people. So they have to see these images of these false gods to feel some type of connection to these false gods, right? Like our Issacharite brothers that still are asleep in the world, they have to see that Mother Mary in they grandma house to believe. You know what I'm saying? They have to see that phony picture of Cesare Borgia and look into his blue eyes inside that raggedy ass picture frame and be like, oh yeah, I believe in Jesus. Right? It's seeing is believing to a lot of people. Right? Even the statue of Asherah or Baal or Molech, they have to see those things to believe in those things. So that's why the Most High say break down their images, because Salakia, because images psychologically goes into a feeling or state of emotion when you look at certain pictures. You know what I'm saying? Images have spirits on it, man. Images have spirits. And that's just what it is. The Most High say break down their images because those images can have a stronghold on your heart, mind, and soul. It can overpower your heart, mind, and soul. An image can, right? That's why the Most High say break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire, right? And you know how the Most High feel about graven images, right? And it wasn't just the Canaanites that had all these plethora of gods in the Mesopotamia in those days. You had all kind of different Hamitic cultures and all kind of different belief systems in those times. And a lot of the Hamitic people shared the same belief system. You know what I'm saying? They all had multitudes of gods. Some of them worshiped the same God. A lot of the Babylonians and the Egyptians, they worship Asherah, right? They worship the sun god. They all kind of had their gods all kind of connected together. And they used those gods against the children of Israel to intimidate us and to get us to stray away from our power and serve their idol gods. Something like here in America, right? Go to that next page, King, on the flipping book, Baba Kushar. Yeah, we'll get some Salakia, before you flip the King, it's a map. It's a map on the right hand side on that last page. And that's showing us, when you look at it closely, it shows the families of the sons of Ham, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Girgashites. It shows their land, right, where they was at before we was promised that land. Abraham was dwelling in this region when the Most High made him that promise that he would give this land to Abraham's seed, which is us, the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So later, after we was delivered out of Egypt and spent 40 years in the wilderness, the Most High divided up this region, and he named it Israel. He called it after our name, right? Israel was a people at first, and then we got our own land, which the Most High gave us for a possession. We was promised this land. It was the promised land. So we went to this land and took it over from the Canaanites eventually, right? So that's the land of Canaan. You see the Amorites. You see Egypt down at the bottom left. The Jebusites, the Canaanites going more up north. The Hittites going more up north. You know, that whole region right there was promised to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And he gave us our portion out of that land. Each tribe had their own portion. All right, Judah had his portion, the southern kingdom had our portion, the northern kingdom had their portion. All right, so yeah, let's go to the next page, Baba Kushar. All right, so the Egyptians, all right, the Egyptians shared similar gods to the Canaanites. You know, not all of them, but some of them. You know, they shared similar gods. All lifeless gods, gods that don't exist for real, right? The Egyptians had um, deities like Ra, Osiris, Isis, Horus, and Anubis, right? So Egyptian mythology is a complex and rich belief system that was integral to ancient Egyptian society. Here are some key points. Deities. Egyptian mythology featured a vast array of gods and goddesses, each with their own characteristics and responsibilities. Some of the most well-known include Ra, the sun god, Osiris, the god of the afterlife, of death and resurrection. Then you had Isis, goddess of magic, motherhood, and fertility, which was the wife of Osiris. Then you had Horus, the god of the sky, often depicted as a falcon. And you know, these gods, they all share similar stories throughout time, even in different captivities. These gods share a similar story. Like Horus, he was born of a virgin on December 25th, right? Then you have Mithra, who was born of a virgin on December 25th. It had disciples. You had Hercules, you know, the Greek god Hercules, he was born of a virgin on December 25th. So all these different gods from these different nations of people, they kind of adopt the same story, but they switch up the character. They switch up the gods. So how Ra is a sun god, you have other cultures that have a sun god, but they change the name of that sun god. But they all have the similar stories. They just switch the identity of those gods. And you could really thank Esau for influencing that, for taking somebody God, because Esau, he'll learn the ways of the Hamitic people. Just like Abraham told his servant to get his son Isaac a wife out of his own kindred, out of his own tribe, and not to deal with the Canaanites. So when Isaac had Jacob and Esau, he kept that tradition going as far as not marrying outside of your lineage. But Esau, being raised in a house full of Israelites, right? Esau, his brother was an Israelite, his dad, his granddad, his mom, you know, his grandma, they was all Israelites. But Esau didn't take heed, and he would venture off and go marry the Canaanites, and then he would learn their ways, learn their customs, learn their gods. He would befriend them, and then he would conquer them, and he would take their gods and put a twist on them and create his own gods. So Esau took all their gods and basically modified them and created his own gods. and put his own stories that were similar to those gods behind his God. Right? So when Esau robbed you, he's not just robbing your land. He's not just robbing you of your heritage. He robbing you of your gods, your belief system. He taking everything from you. Right? So Horus was the god of the sky, often depicted as a falcon. And Anubis, god of mummification in the afterlife, often depicted as a jackal-headed figure. Right? So number two, creation myth. One of the central myths in Egyptian mythology is the creation story. It tells how the world emerged from the primal waters of chaos, personified as the god Nun. From this chaos, a mount of earth rose, and the sun god Ra emerged, creating light. So yeah, they have creation myths. They put their own twist on how the world was created. Um, Even the Egyptians, the Hamitic people in the ancient world, they came up with their scientific theories or their false narratives, false doctrines, false information about creation that had a stronghold on the minds of our people. Just like now with the Big Bang Theory, our people believe that what they learned in science class in high school is the truth. They believe that uh, the world just, or the universe exploded and everything just miraculously appeared, and a whole theory of a big bang happening. They believe it. That's mythology. That's false teaching. It's not real. But it became real to our people once they start to adapt to the customs of the heathens. They started to believe in that mindset. They started to believe in those images that they seen. Okay, I see a picture of Nun, the god Nun, and they showing the sun rising from the east, and they saying that Nun created the earth. Nun was the god that created the earth. Even when you look at the hieroglyphics on the walls of Egypt within the pyramids, you'll see hieroglyphics of the god Nun, kind of covering, making like a dome shape over, Egypt or whatever. But our people would believe in these stories that they would read on the wall. They would believe the writings on the wall from our adversaries at that time, the Hamitic people, right? None created nothing. Right. None created nothing. Right? Didn't create a damn thing. Right? So creation of gods. This how foolish we look, trying to serve a God that don't exist. So the creation of a God, any one of us in this class right now, we could create a God if we wanted to, right? Let's just say, to use your imagination, right? You say, I'm gonna create a God, right? Let's say you be holding a water bottle in your hand. I got a water bottle. I'm finna get people to worship this water bottle that don't know no better. I'm gonna call this water bottle, let's just say I call it uh the god of hydration, right? I'm gonna call this water bottle the god of hydration. And I'm gonna tell people, hey, this water in this water bottle is magic. If you pray to it, special things are happening to you. It'll happen to your life. If you bow down and worship this water bottle, it will bring you prosperity. Um, if you meditate and stay at the synagogue for hours praying to this water bottle, your kids will grow up and they will be smart and wise. Now, you have people that will believe the person that's holding this water bottle, saying that the hydration God is going to bless you. You have gullible people in the world that's going to hearken because they're looking for something to believe in, and they don't know what to believe in, but they believing in this man that's telling you, hey, the God of hydration is going to save your life. The God of hydration is going to provide for you. The God of hydration is the creator of the whole universe. You have people that believe in false narratives. You have people that believe in false gods. We know that this water bottle is lifeless, that this water can't do nothing for you, right? As far as quench your thirst if you open it up and drink it, and that's about it. It can't answer your prayers. It can't hear you when you cry unto it. It can't do nothing special in your life like the man that's holding the water bottle said it would do. But you have people that believe in these false gods that don't exist. Is no difference in believing in the water bottle, saying that this water bottle, you drink this water, you're gonna live for 1,000 years. It's no difference. And believing in Ra, believing in Set, worshiping a golden calf, right? Believing in Dagon, like there's no difference in these in believing in these gods. There's no difference because these gods don't exist. This water bottle really not finna do nothing for you. It ain't gonna do nothing for you, just like Molech ain't gonna do nothing for you. Just like Osiris and Horus ain't gonna do nothing for you. So they had our people believing in something that don't really exist. So our imagination would go places that they really wasn't supposed to go. Right? They took our mind and they put it out there. Oh yeah, if you worship this golden calf, you'll be prosperous. You'll be delivered out of this wilderness. If you worship Horus, you know, great things that happen in your life. Your children will be blessed. Those are the false doctrines and the doctrines of devils that been going on throughout history, throughout time. Right? So number 3, afterlife beliefs on the flipping book. Afterlife beliefs. The ancient Egyptians had elaborate beliefs about the afterlife, which influenced many aspects of their culture, including the construction of pyramids and tombs. They believed that when a person died, their soul, or ka, would journey to the afterlife to ensure a successful transition. The body was mummified and buried with goods for the journey, right? Because in the ancient world, you know, those afterlife beliefs, they believe that if you get buried with all your riches, that you could take that to where you was going in the afterlife, which is BS. All right, you can't take none of your riches with you, no matter how much you pile it up in the tomb, how much money and gold and jewelry that they would put in the tomb with them. And they heart minded, so they believe that they could take all that stuff with them to the next life, to the afterlife. You know, where in reality, you can't take none of that with you. All right, you're only taking your spirit back to the afterlife. Your flesh can't even go with you back to the afterlife. Right? But that was their belief system. And they would influence the children of Israel to believe in those same things. Because psychologically, believing in that type of stuff, it comes with an emotional attachment. It comes with an emotional attachment. It comes with all kind of theories and vain imaginations and wicked thoughts. You know, you daydreaming about dying with all your money and going into the afterlife when that's just, it's not true. You can't take nothing with you when you die, not even your own flesh, right? But those are the type of influences that those cultures had on the minds and hearts and souls of our people, right? Let me get a precept. Let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 1. Khan.
Hey, if you need, I can be armor bearer.
Okay, Khan, I would appreciate that. Let's get Numbers chapter 14 and verse 1. When everybody got it, say Khan.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 14, beginning at verse 1. And all the congregations lifted up their voice and cried, And the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in this wilderness?
Right. So they said, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, meaning they would have rather died in slavery. Well, were we going to die in the land of Egypt? Egypt is synonymous to slavery. Or would God we had died in the wilderness? And in the wilderness, we had liberty to serve the Most High freely. When you go to Exodus chapter 7 and verse 15 through 16, it lets you know, hey, let my people go so they can go into the wilderness and serve me freely. Right? So they're like, damn, would it have been better if we would have died in slavery or if we died serving Yahweh freely? Verse 3, read.
Verse 3. And wherefore hath Yahweh brought us unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt?
Right. So our people wanted to go back into Egypt out of fear of dying, but more so they wanted to go back into Egypt because they wanted to keep their slave mentality. They didn't want to use their mental capacity to serve the Most High freely. Right? The Most High gave us liberty to serve Him and keep His high holy days and feast days freely without oppression in the wilderness. Right? Whereas, like right now in Babylon, we still get oppressed over here. We're not able to serve the Most High freely because we still got rules and regulations that we must abide by. Like if our job say, hey, you got to work on the Sabbath or you're going to lose your job. Some of us, we have to do just that. Some of us do, right? Because you got to provide for your family. You got to pay bills. You don't want your family out on the street. So you be in a tight situation, right? Where we're not able to fully serve Him freely over here in Babylon. The same way in ancient Egypt, right? And it was more so of a mindset. Our people wanted to go back and worship those gods, those false ideas, those false philosophies, those false teachings. They were so accustomed to having a plethora of gods that when it came down to serving one true living power, it was kind of mind-boggling for them. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of hard for them to grasp the concept of being delivered, being saved, being severed from these people, and now you done got to the wilderness and you don't know how this power move. You don't know how the Most High Yahweh move. So you fear, you're like, man, it's better for me to just not be in this truth and go back into the world. Basically is what they were saying. Right? Verse 4, read.
Verse 4. And they said one to another, let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt.
Right. So they decided to conspire. Let's make us a captain and let's go back into slavery. Basically is what they're saying. Let's go back into slavery. I'd rather have a slave mentality than the mentality of a free man. Right? I'd rather be psychologically destroyed by the hands of my oppressors in these false gods than to freely serve the one true living God in truth and sincerity. Right? That was basically the narrative. They wanted to go back into slavery. They wanted to go back into that slave mentality because they was comfortable being in subjection to the Hamitic people, right? So yeah, basically they wanted to go back to the ways of Egypt, the way of thinking. They wanted to go back, as we would say today, after we've been delivered from the westernized mindset, after we've been delivered and put into our own land to serve the Most High according to His ways. Our people wanted to go back into a slave-like mentality. right? So let's go to the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 22, because the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to make us wise, to make us wiser than our enemies, to make us wiser than the other nations. Because wisdom was put in Israel. Wisdom not given to everybody in the world. Not the breath of life, right? Not the true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Holy Scriptures. That wisdom was only given to the children of Israel, right? Wisdom doesn't dwell with the Hamitic people. Wisdom doesn't dwell with Ishmael or Esau. Wisdom only dwells with us, man. And we got to take that into consideration, right? The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 22, when everybody got it, say Khan. Bring it out, King.
Come. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, in verse 22. And it has not been heard of in China, neither hath it been seen in Theman.
Right. So that have not been heard in Canaan is the wisdom of the Most High. That it is the wisdom, right? It has not been heard in Canaan. Wisdom have not been heard in Canaan. Neither have it been seen in Theman, which is Teman, right? Goes into Edom, the Edomites. So Canaan goes into the Hamitic people, and Theman is Teman. It goes into to Esau, Edom. So wisdom have not been heard in Canaan, and wisdom have not been heard in Teman. Read.
Verse 23. The Agrines that seek wisdom upon earth, and merchants of Moran of the Teman, the authors of fables, and searchers out of understanding. None of these have known the wisdom, none of these have known the way of wisdom, or remember her path.
Right. So the Agarenes are the Hagarenes, the Hamitic people. The Agarenes that seek wisdom upon the earth, the merchants of Moran and of Teman, or Theman, the authors of fables, because that's what these people are. The Hamitic people, the Canaanites, the Ishmaelites, the Edomites, right? The Temanites. They are authors of fables. Fables are fairy tales, which mean lies. When you look up that word fairy tales or fables, it means lies, right? They author of lies, right? They can create a god out of thin air and get the whole world to bow down and worshiping it, right? They are author of fables. Oh, this solar Messiah was born of a virgin on December 25th. We're gonna have a celebration every year to celebrate this false god, this false narrative. They are author of fables, right? That's what they are. And it says, and searchers out of understanding. None of these have known the way of wisdom or remember her path. So none of these people don't know wisdom. They don't know truth. They don't know law. They don't know order. They know confusion, chaos, fairy tales, make-believe, fables. That's what they know. All right? Esau learned these people ways, and then he created his own gods. But they are the same. They are the same. They just got different names. From different captivities, these gods took on different names. Our different captivities that we was in, they was the same gods. They just had different names, and maybe the background story was a tad bit different, right? But nevertheless, wisdom don't dwell with these people, right? Let's jump to the book of Ecclesiasticus.
Salakia.
Uh-huh.
Now I was gonna say, King, mighty point, and I was gonna say even too, if you read in that same chapter in Baruch 3, verse 35 and 36, it talks about who we do get that wisdom and that knowledge to. And even 35 saying that how he's not even compared to these other gods as well.
Come on, let's bring that out. Let's bring out what you say, 31 and 32?
35 and 36, King.
35 and 36. Yeah, let's jump down to verse 35 and 36. Baba Kashab.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, beginning at verse 35. This is Yahweh, and there shall none other be accounted of in comparison of him. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and hath given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. After all, sorry.
No, you got to read, King.
Afterward did he shew himself upon earth and converse with men.
Right. So our power, Yahweh, no other God can be accounted of in comparison to him, man. There's no comparison in a false God with the true God. Right? There's no comparison to Ra the Sun God with the Most High Yahweh. Right? You can't compare because while these different nations of people created these plethora of gods to do all these things. You have the God of the storm, you have the God of the afterlife, you have the God of creation. The Most High say, hey, I do all these things by myself, man. There's no other God with me. All these splits and divisions with their gods, the Most High do everything. Right? It say he have found out the way of knowledge and have given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. Right? So wisdom not dwelling with these other nations, the Most High not dwelling with these other nations. Right? And they say afterward did he show himself upon the earth and converse with men. And that's what he doing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. With this word, with this truth, he is conversing with us and is resonating with our spirit. Right? A Kemet person, somebody that believe in Kemet or Egyptologist, right? They can come and try to break down the Book of the Dead all day. It's just not going to resonate with our spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. We not turning to the Book of the Dead for our salvation, right? We turn into the Book of Life, man, for our salvation. This living waters, that's what we turn into for our salvation, because it resonate with our spirit. It's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. He done made the simple wise, man. We used to be simple out here in these streets. And now with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, he done made us wise, man. And these other nations, they just don't have that. Right? So that was an excellent precept, King, going further down into Baruch chapter 3. Right? Because the Most High placed wisdom in Israel. Right? So let's jump to Ecclesiasticus 24 and verse 8. And when everybody got it, say Khan.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 24, beginning at verse 8. So the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thy inheritance in Israel.
Right. So this is wisdom speaking again. This is wisdom talking. And she says, so the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel. So that's where wisdom is at. Wisdom is not in the land of Canaan, as far as dealing with the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites. Wisdom not there. Wisdom not dealing with the ancient Egyptians, right? The so-called Egyptians. Wisdom is just not there. Wisdom is not dwelling with Esau, Edom, or the Romans or the Greeks, right? Whatever he want to call himself, the Spaniards. Wisdom not dwelling with them. She say her dwelling is in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel. Verse 9, read.
Verse 9. And he created me from the beginning before the world, and I shall never fail. Verse 10. In the holy tabernacle I serve before him, and so was I established in Sion.
Right. Wisdom was established in Zion. Read.
Likewise, Salaki, verse 11. Likewise, in the beloved city, he gave me rest. And in Jerusalem was my power.
Read.
And I took root in an honorable people, even in the portion of the Lord's inheritance.
Right. So wisdom says she took root in the honorable people, man. Even the portion of the Most High's inheritance. We are the Most High's inheritance. Wisdom dwell with us. Because we not finna believe in all these plethora of gods, man. It don't make sense. A god of the sea, a god of the wind, a god of the air. That just don't make sense. Right? It does not make sense. We know that there's only one true living God because wisdom dwells with us. We not so gullible to believe all these false narratives, man. Even after celebrating paganism, for damn near our whole lives, the Most High still put it in our spirit, like, hey, man, even before you completely stop celebrating, pagan holidays and traditions, some in our spirit just said, why are we doing this like this over and over every year? Why it's like this? You start questioning stuff. Why are we spending all our money on Christmas and telling our children that a fat white man coming down the chimney and stuff just stopped? It don't add up. Stuff stopped adding up. It didn't make sense. Why are we celebrating Thanksgiving if they killed all these Native American Indians? Why are we, our spirit, that wisdom that dwells with Jacob start to arouse in our spirit, man? We're not falling for the booby traps, man. We're not falling for Valentine's Day, Lupercalia, right? We're not falling for the day of Ishtar, which they call Easter. We're not falling for those things because wisdom dwell in Jacob. We too wise for that, man. To continue down the path of darkness. We kind of like we ain't gonna say kind of like AI, but we get better. We always upgrading and evolving. We always upgrade and get better at things. The children of Israel, we always develop. And no matter what kind of circumstances we in, whether it be slavery, oppression, we still find a way out, right? We still figure things out because wisdom dwell with us. The slave master, had us cutting the grass with a pair of scissors. We like, you know what? It's taking too long to cut this grass. Let's invent us a lawnmower, right? The slave master got us in the shack, hot as hell. The fan ain't working right. So we invent the air conditioner, right? We evolve, we get better. Even in oppression and slavery, we have that wisdom to create and make our slavery a little bit easier, man. Right? I done seen a brother, he took it further than just having a lawnmower. This brother, he got tired of cutting the grass. He got tired of pushing the lawnmower, and he got tired of sitting on the riding lawnmower. So this brother tore down the riding lawnmower and attached like a remote to it, like a remote control car, and he sitting on the front porch mowing his grass with a remote control lawnmower, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the wisdom that the children of Israel have. We tend to make our lives easier by inventing powerful devices that's going to benefit the whole nation. Imagine just sitting on your front porch, you cutting the whole yard with a remote control. You know what I'm saying? But that's because wisdom dwell with us, man. The Most High dealing with his children. So just like you have Canaanite mythology, you have Egyptology, you also have Greek mythology. Where I mentioned earlier that Esau learned the ways of these Hamitic people, and he took it and he put his own spin on it. Right? He put his own spin on these gods. Right? Let's go to the book of Let's go to the book of Genesis, the 26th chapter and the 34th verse. The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 34. When everybody got it, say Khan.
Come on, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 26, beginning at verse 34. And Esau was 40 years old when he took wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Bashmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite.
Right, so Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife the daughters of these Hittites, man, the daughters of these Hamitic people. He didn't marry within his kindred. He went outside and married who his parents told him not to marry. Verse 35, read.
Verse 35. Which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
Which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and Rebekah, because they raised him in a household that was governed by the laws of the Most High. And he went outside of what he was taught, and it grieved his parents because they told him, hey, you got to keep the ways of the Most High, marry within your kindred, marry within your tribe, your family. But he went and deliberately disobeyed them, and it grieved them, man. It grieved his parents. Right? Let's jump to Genesis 36 and 1. Genesis chapter 36 and verse 1. Because we got to remember, Esau was raised in a house full of Israelites, right? He was raised knowing about the law, statutes, and commandments. He was raised keeping high holy days, the Shabbat. He was raised in that, but he despised all of that. He despised that and went completely against the grain, completely against the commandments, right? Genesis 36 and 1, when everybody got it, say Khan.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 36, beginning at verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan.
Of
the daughters of Canaan.
Right. So Esau took the wives of the daughters of Canaan, man. When Abraham told his servant to get a wife for his son Isaac, he told him, hey, get somebody out of our kindred. Don't take the daughters of the Canaanites. Right? And Isaac had that same information, and he told his sons that same information. Jacob and Esau, don't y'all deal with the daughters of the Canaanites, man. But what Esau do? He go get him wives of the daughters of Canaan. Read.
Ada, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And Aholibamah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite.
Read.
And Bashmath, Ismael's daughter, sister of Neboah, Aslaki, Nebajoth.
Read.
And Ada bare to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashmath bare Reuel. And Alabama bare Jesus, and Jalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan.
Right. So Esau had children. He had wives of the Canaanites, and his children was born in the land of Canaan. So Esau went against his parents, went against the laws of the Most High, right? And he went and adopted the culture of the Hamitic nations. So he mingled with these Hamitic people and adopted their culture. And Esau learned their ways. He learned their gods. He studied their history. And that's what Esau do, man. He'll befriend you. He'll learn your ways, study your culture, study your gods. He'll worship with you and everything, right? Whatever God you worshiping, Esau he gonna do his best to worship your gods. He gonna learn your ways, and next thing you know, he gonna conquer your ass, right? Esau gonna conquer you, your whole nation, your whole tribe, your whole village, your whole region. He gonna conquer it with the sword. He gonna steal your heritage. He gonna steal your gods, your artifacts, your idols. He gonna take it. He gonna steal it, and he gonna set it up as if it's his God, because that's what he do, man. That's what he do, right? So when you go into like uh Shemaiah, if you can pull up the flipping book again and go to the next page. If you kind of compare Egypt mythology with Greek mythology, it's all similar. It's all similar. They have the same gods, just under different names. Because, like I mentioned earlier, Esau would take their gods and he would modify it to fit his agenda. You know what I'm saying? Esau, with his Greek mythology, or Esau's he being the author of fables, he would kind of put a twist on those gods. He would make it more heroic and romantic in his stories and his storylines. You know what I'm saying? While the Egyptian stories was kind of cut and dry and about war and agriculture and straight to the point, it wasn't too fantasized. You know, with their teachings and their doctrines, they didn't fantasize it too much. But Esau, he took fantasy to a whole new level. You know what I'm saying? He took it to a whole new level and modified those gods and added heroism and romance inside his stories, right? Well, let's go to Second Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 15. When everybody got it, say con. Second Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 15. And Shemaiah, whenever you get a chance, put the flipping book back up, King Baba Kushar.
This is the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 4, beginning at verse 15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
Right. So our people didn't like sitting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. Meaning you like the ways of the heathen nations, right? You like the ways of Esau more than keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So our people believe in that Greek mythology, especially when they blend it in with the scriptures. A lot of Christians, they believe in Greek mythology. Oh, Christ being born of a virgin. A Holy Ghost came and impregnated Mary while she was already married to Joseph. That's Greek mythology, right? Oh, Adam and Eve was the very first two people on the earth, and they had sex and had children, and their children had sex and had children, and so forth and so on. That's Greek mythology. It's not real. That's Egyptology, right? They put their own spin on creation. Those are not real scenarios. The scriptures don't even say that. So it's Greek mythology. It's Egyptology. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. It's fables, Jewish fables, right? But our people setting by the honors of their fathers, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but like the glory of the Grecians, best of all. Our people into Hercules, our people into Hades, our people into Zeus, Jesus. They into that type of stuff, right? Because they rather deal with that than to deal with the one true living power, right? They rather deal with that than to deal with the one true living power, the Holy One of Israel, the Lord God of Israel, right? So yeah, Esau took the Hamitic people, he took their gods and modified them and made something more potent and powerful than their gods, because the gods of the Edomites, they have a strong hold on our people, man. They have a very strong hold on our people, right? That's why I entitled this class "The Images of the Nations," because those images have some type of power, but we give it power when we worship it. You know, the images have some type of power because art itself isn't evil. Art itself is not evil. It's when you take that art and you make it a god. That's when it becomes evil, right? That's when you take a picture of a falcon head and then you put it on a man and then you say, okay, this is Ra, the sun god. That's what makes it evil. And you get people to bow down and worship that god. That's what makes it evil. And if somebody don't want to bow down and worship that god, you put fear into people and you start killing people for not worshiping a false deity. That's evil, right? Let's go to the book of Judith, chapter 9 and verse 12. We're going to go into a prayer against the Assyrians, because in each captivity that we was in, you know, we worshiped their gods. We followed their ways. You know what I'm saying? We neglected the Most High, right? And that's because of the images of the nations, right? The book of Judith, chapter 9 and verse 12. When everybody got it, say, "Khan."
This is the book of Judith, chapter 9, beginning at verse 12. I pray thee, O God of my father, and God of the inheritance of Israel, Lord of the heavens and earth, creator of the waters, king of every creature, hear thou my prayer.
Read.
And I make my speech and deceit to be thy wound and stripe, who have purposed cruel things against thy covenant and thy hallowed house, and against the top of Sion, and against the house of the possession of thy children.
Right. So this going into the crafty counsel of the Assyrians, you know, which are the modern day Assyrians, are the Americans, you know, the Edomites. They are the modern day Assyrians. But since the beginning of time, you know, they've been taking crafty counsel against the chosen seed, right? Who have proposed cruel things against thy covenant. So these people take crafty counsel to get us to transgress the covenant of the Most High, because they know if we transgress against the covenant, that they have dominion over us. If we keep the covenant and do right by the Most High, we have dominion over the whole earth, as well as the people, right? So they propose cruel things against thy covenant, like creating false gods, graven images for our people to worship. And they hollowed in thy hallowed house, and against the top of Zion, and against the house of the possession of thy children. So these nations, they are in complete opposition against the Most High and his law, statutes, and commandments. And their job is to influence your imagination, your thoughts, right? Your visions. Their job is to advertise wickedness into your heart so you can commit those atrocities against the Most High. Verse 14, read.
Verse 14. And make every nation and tribe to acknowledge that thou art the God of all power and might, and that there is none other that protecteth the people of Israel but thou.
Right. There is none other that protect the people of Israel but thou. Right. But you have Israelites, you know, wearing their rosary beads, saying their little rosary prayer, thinking that those beads or that rosary gonna protect them from the evil. They must be out their damn mind, man. Our people believe that if they light some sage, it's gonna clear out evil spirits, gonna protect them from evil spirits. That's a fable, man. That's a Jewish fable. But there is none other that protected the people of Israel but thou, but the Most High. Nobody else can protect us, right? We can't even protect ourselves, let alone an image of Cesare Borgia, let alone a copper stone, right? Let alone a damn dream catcher or something, man. Can't protect us. Only the Most High can protect Israel, because the Most High is the only one true living God. Right? Horus can't protect the nation of Israel. Right? Ra and Set, Molech, Dagon, that can't nobody, none of those false gods can protect Israel, man. Right? Let's jump to the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 1. All right, let's jump to the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 1. All right, those graven images that the nation set up against the children of Israel for us to believe in those images, hey, is detrimental to our salvation, man. Believing in the works of men's hands is insanity. That's a mental illness. To believe that a rock or a piece of wood is your salvation, is going to protect you from evil, right? Just like those priests and those exorcist movies, they perform exorcisms and they pull out that little bottle of water, that little holy water, and splash it on the demon like that. Like that water is so set apart it's gonna save them. No, that holy water, so-called holy water, ain't gonna do nothing for you, man. Right? Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. When everybody got it, say con.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, beginning at verse 1. And Yahweh spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Egypt was the house of slavery. The Most High brought us out of Egypt. Read.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
That's a commandment. That's the first commandment right here. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. No other powers before the Most High. Read.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Right.
Verse
So
5.
we should select it. So we should not partake in no type of form of idol worship, right? Which was prevalent in many ancient cultures, man. The Canaanites, the Egyptians, the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, they all was into idolatry real heavy, right? But the Most High gave us strict commandments not to make unto thee any graven images, like the other nations did. They stayed with graven images, carved out images, to false gods. You know what I'm saying? They stayed with that. And a graven image, it do psychological damage or spiritual damage to your heart, mind, and soul, man. People get emotional when they walk into a church and they see that dirty Edomite hanging on the cross, man. They get emotional. Some people drop down to their knees and go to crying, depending on, what type of service you're going to. Some people get in there and they just start weeping, man. Seeing that raggedy Edomite, that hippie called Cesare Borgia on the cross bleed. It do psychological damage to our people to see a graven image and to worship that graven image. The Most High say, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Come on. This is verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate. Verse 6. Oh, Salaki.
God, so the Most High say we shouldn't bow down ourselves to these gods, man. right? Don't bow down to these graven images like our people do, man. They have events, you know, in Mexico where they run around in the streets, have like a parade with a big ass statue of Mother Mary. As soon as that statue come down the street, you have our brothers and sisters, they bowing down, crying, worshiping Mother Mary, man. The Most High say, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them," meaning do the works. People passing out pamphlets with Mother Mary face on it, with a prayer attached to it, talking about you need to follow Mother Mary, or you need to follow Jesus, or you want to come to our Catholic Church, or to our Kingdom Hall this Sunday. Right? They doing the works. They serving that power. Right? And the Most High going to visit the iniquities of the children unto the third and fourth generation. You're going to visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right? Hold that and go to Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 1, Baba Kashar. Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 1. The Most High is a jealous power, man. That's kind of like you got a rib, you dealing with a rib, y'all been together for some time. Next thing you know, you find out she been talking to a cyborg, artificial intelligence man that she's in love with. He don't exist. This man don't even exist. It ain't even a real person. But your rib done fell in love with this AI that don't exist. That's kind of like how people fall in love with these gods that don't exist. You know what I'm saying? How people fall in love with the idea of a God that's not real. You know, but you do have people out there right now, you know, they falling in love with this technology. They buying up AI sex dolls, and they online chatting within a community that's full of artificial people that's not real. And they falling in love with these people. How you get catfished by AI, man? They getting catfished by AI. You know, so that's synonymous to our people, you know, forsaking the Most High to follow something that doesn't really exist. Leviticus 26 and 1, bring that out, King.
Come. Hey, Salaki, with that also the AI, all that's gonna do is just create more damn mental health issues that they gonna label these people with. They depressed because their damn computer or AI girlfriend cheated or broke up on.
King, come. That sounds crazy as hell too. It sounds crazy.
But this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26, beginning at verse 1. Ye shall make no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it. For I am Yahweh, your God.
All right, so ye shall make no idols nor graven images to worship, neither shall ye neither rear you up a standing image. Now these images, yeah, they physical, right? They are physical images, but we also know that the law is spiritual, man. Because when you look at a graven image, like let's just say you have an image of who can I say? All right, an image of the Baphomet, right? They set up images of the Baphomet in predominant places, city halls, in front of government buildings or whatever. So that's a graven image. That's a physical image. You see that image. You can see it with your eyes. It's a physical image. But in the spiritual realm, on a spiritual level, this image that you're looking at, you see a man with a goat head, with breasts, with children standing beside it. So mentally or spiritually or psychologically, it does something in your brain, in your heart. Okay, I'm looking at a beast. It's a goat, right, with two horns, holding up a peace sign upward and a peace sign downward. And then you see this beast has boobs. So it's like a transgender, right? The thoughts that come with looking at a transgender is vile. Like, why is this man trying to be a woman? Or why this woman trying to be a man? Right? It does something to you psychologically. It's like, what the hell is going on, man? What is this? This is strange. This is not normal. Right? That's what these images do to us when we look at them. Why is this beast with breasts standing by these children? Why does this scene look so evil? And then your mind start going all these different places. Right? That's the images of the nations or the graven images that the Most High don't want you to set up, because it does something within your spirit when you look at these images. Right? Psychological effects when looking at these images and dealing with these images. Why? Because the law is spiritual, man. So the Most High say, don't set up no graven images. Don't stand up no images in your dwellings, right? Neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up an image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, right? To worship it. Like I said, artwork isn't evil, but if you're trying to worship this creation that you created, right, that's evil. For I am the Lord your God, and the Most High is a jealous power, man. He's not going to have you worshiping something that don't exist, man. He's not going to allow you to worship something in his face that's not doing anything for you, right? They're not providing for you. They're not waking you up in the morning. They're not answering your prayers. They're not nurturing you up, right? They're not making you fruitful. Them idol gods ain't doing none of that. Those graven images not doing none of that, man. Right? And we got to take that into consideration. Right? So that's it on that. Let's jump back to Exodus 20 and let's read verse 5 again, all the way down to 6. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 5. And we're going to read to 6.
God, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 5, that's like chapter 20, beginning at verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the third and fourth generation of them that hate. Verse 6. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
Right, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. The same way he did with Daniel, man. With Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? When they was almost forced to bow down and worship the statue that Nebuchadnezzar set up, they didn't bow down and worship that statue. They was keeping the commandments, and the Most High showed them mercy, even though they was threatened with death, even though they had to face death for they actions. Hey, they was faithful in those temptations, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 3, and verse 10. Daniel chapter 3 and verse 10. When everybody got it, say Khan.
Here's the book of Daniel, chapter 3, beginning at verse 10. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image.
Right. He said that all shall fall down and worship the golden image. But the Most High just told us not to bow down and worship no graven images, man. Verse 11, read.
Verse 11. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Right. So Nebuchadnezzar, the king, giving an ultimatum. Hey, you either fall down and worship this golden image, and if you don't fall down and worship this golden image, you going into this fiery furnace. We finna cook you alive. Read.
There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Right.
These men,
Salaki King. This just goes to show you that even in our captivity, wisdom still dwells with us in our captivities, but we still climb up the corporate ladder or the political ladder. Just like Joseph in ancient Egypt, he was the second in command after Pharaoh. Our people always find some way to get in some type of position of power, even in our captivity, right? So there were certain of the Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, right? So certain Israelites were set up in high ranks, certain aspects of these provinces. Read.
these men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Right. So, they telling on Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, like, hey, these men that you set up in our system, they not worshiping, they not obeying your command. They not worshiping this golden image. Read.
Verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
Right. So these brothers, they know their heritage, they know their history, they know their laws, their statutes and commandments. They know what to do and what not to do. So they not bowing down to the golden image, and they're not respecting the commandment of the king, because the Most High laws, statutes, and commandments void out anything that goes against the word of the Most High. Right? The laws, statutes, and commandments void out the power of a wicked ruler, man. Right? Just because this wicked ruler tell you to sit up here and eat swine, but the Most High tell you not to eat swine, you got to be obedient to what the Most High said. You can't waver, man. You can't waver. You got to be faithful in those trials, and that's what the Most High want to see. And they would not bow down and worship that golden image. Why? Because they knew the law, statutes, and commandments. Read.
Verse 15. Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?
Right. So they speaking boldly against the children of Israel, saying, you're going to bow down to this image and worship my God. If not, you're going to be cast into a fiery furnace. And who is this power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Hey, it's the Holy One of Israel, man, the one true living God. That's who's going to deliver us out of your hands. Point blank, period. Right? Verse 16, read.
Verse 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
Read.
If it's like 17, if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king.
Right. So they let them know that our power, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from from the burning fiery furnace, and he would deliver us out of thy hand. And that's speaking boldly. That's not pride. That's confidence in your power. That's confidence in your creator, man. Knowing that he's going to deliver you out of the hands of your enemies, out of these tribulations, out of these fiery trials that we get in, because that's synonymous to the things we go through on a daily basis out here in Babylon, dealing with these fiery trials and afflictions in the furnace of adversity. The Most High is purging us and he's purifying us. He's refining us as gold is refined in the furnace, meaning he's burning out all the impurities, all the lack of faith, all the disobedience, all the rebellion. He's purging that out of us, right? Even though, at times, you feel as if you're not worthy because you might fall short of the glory here. You might fall short of the glory there. But at the end of the day, the Most High is still purging us. Hold that precept and go to John 15 and 1, Baba Kashar, John chapter 15 and verse 1, and read down to 2. And then we can go back to Daniel 3.
Come, this is the book of St. John, chapter 15, beginning at verse 5.
So like verse 1.
So it's like St. John, chapter 15, verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is my husbandman.
Read.
Verse 2. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
Right. So every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Meaning you being lawless, you're not repenting, you're not being fruitful, you're not conveying this message, you're not rehearsing the righteous acts. He take that tree away, he take that branch away. And he said, and every branch that beareth fruit, meaning you keeping the commandments, you honoring the Sabbath day, right? You spreading the gospel, you doing the works, and you're increasing your faith, right? It's saying every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it. Meaning, yeah, you might be bearing fruit, but then you still might be falling short of the glory in some aspects, but you still consistent with the work, right? You still spreading this true doctrine to your people. You confessing your faults when you sin. You bearing fruit, but you're still being purged of your sins, man. It say that it may bring forth more fruit. So yeah, you're gonna be fruitful. You're gonna be fruitful in this walk if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. At the same time, you're gonna fall short of the glory. But don't let your sins weigh you down, because the Most High is still purging you from your transgressions. That way you're able to bring forth more fruit. So don't think, don't get it in your mind and your heart to think that, oh, I'm not worthy. Oh, I just went off yesterday, right? And I'm not worthy of the kingdom no more. No, the Most High say, yeah, you bringing forth fruit. You bringing people into the knowledge of the truth. Yeah, you fell short of the glory, but he's still purging you so you could bring forth more fruit. Right. And that's a heavy, that's a heavy situation right there, because a lot of people don't grasp the concept of being fruitful in his word or bringing forth fruit in his word. Right. You ain't just going to lose your fruit because you made a mistake or you was changed into a lower state and you made haste. That don't mean you're going to lose your fruit, man. Still continue to get up and fight the good fight of faith. Don't let your sins weigh you down. Don't just you fell short of the glory. Don't just go back into your vomit. Don't continue to go back to your vomit, continue to fight against those evil spirits. So the Most High can continue to purge you, and you can bring in forth more fruit. Right? So let's jump back to the book of Daniel, chapter 3. And where we was at?
17.
Yeah, Daniel 3 and 17. Bring that out, King.
Sorry, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. Verse 18. But if not, verse 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we would not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Right. So they told the king, hey, we the hell with your commandment. We keeping the commandment of our power. They say he gonna save us, he gonna deliver us, but even let's make this known. He said, but let's make this known. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we would not serve thy gods. Either way, if the Most High deliver us, if we get put into this furnace, the Most High gonna deliver us. But if he don't deliver us, we still not serving your gods, right? Nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Hey, that's mighty in the spirit, man. They not wavering. That's what they saying. We not wavering, right? We not finna bow down and worship your God. Whether our God come down here and save us and deliver us out of this fiery furnace, or whether he let us burn up in this furnace, we still not serving your God. What part of that don't you understand? We not breaking this commandment. We not transgressing the laws of God. Just to save face, just to save our life, man. He said, those that save their life shall lose it. Those that lose their life shall find it, man. Right? And the moral of the story is, don't waver. Stand on the Most High business, man. Stand on the Most High business. Is that simple? You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. Right? Don't out of fear, don't transgress the laws of the Most High because you got a gun to your head and they telling you to bow down and worship this robot, or to bow down and worship, this false god, or to bow down and worship this damn water bottle. You know what I'm saying? Don't waver, man. And that got to be the example that we set in our nation when we face those difficult moments, when Esau come in and run into our homes with assault rifles, and they saying, hey, you gonna worship Cesare Borgia, or I'm gonna put a bullet in your head, or you gonna worship this image, or I'm gonna kill your children. Hey, we not wavering, right? We're not breaking the commandments. We're not transgressing the laws of the Most High out of fear, man. Fear not them that can destroy the body, but fear him that can destroy the body and the soul in hellfire, man. Right? So I'm gonna pull up. Let me see if I can pull up Blue Letter real quick. See if I can share my screen and pull up Blue Letter. So Lakia, bear with me. Yeah, blue letter ain't pulling up, but let me see. Stop sharing. Well, I got it written down, so let me see. I'm gonna go into that word graven image in the blue letter. It's not working on my device, but I got it. I got it printed out for the outline biblical usage of graven image in Exodus 20 in verse 4. So the outline biblical usage of the word graven image. One of the definition it is form, framing, purpose, framework. Another definition of graven image is pottery. Graven image. A graven image is an idol, an object or image, such as a statue that is worshipped as the representation of a deity or god. The word graven means carved or sculpted. Graven image refers to some kind of object or image that has been made to represent a god. That is a graven image. The fourth definition, man as formed from the dust. 5 is purpose, imagination, device, intellectual framework. So a man as formed from the dust can be considered a graven image, just like our people worship these celebrities, right? They bow down, they cry at their concerts. A lot of people used to worship Michael Jackson when he was alive. Michael Jackson used to have grown men fainting at his concert, passing out, bowing down, crying, to this man. So he was a form of a graven image. Graven image also goes into imagination, or device, meaning mental perception, right? So, the law is spiritual. And that word spiritual goes into psychological, right? Or your psyche, your spirit is your psyche. Spiritual, spiritual warfare and psychological warfare is one and the same. There's no difference between the two. Psychological warfare, spiritual warfare is the same exact thing, right? So purpose, imaginations, mental perception, and intellectual framework. Now, going into intellectual framework, an intellectual framework refers to a structured approach or set of principles that guides one thinking, right? So intellectual framework is principles that guide your thinking. Analyze and understand various issues. It provides a foundation of critical thinking, problem solving, decision making. Intellectual frameworks can be based on philosophical theories, scientific methods, cultural perspectives, or personal beliefs and values. They help individuals organize information, interpret data, and form coherent arguments or perspectives on complex topics. So intellectual framework. So dealing with graven images goes into intellectual framework. It can either, in a negative way, it can hinder your intellectual framework, or if you in the truth, it can increase your intellectual framework. Because we cast down strongholds, we let people know, hey, you're not supposed to be bowing down to this. That can increase your intellectual framework. But if you're on the opposite end, bowing down to these graven images and worshiping celebrities, it could hinder your intellectual framework, meaning it can affect your critical thinking. It could hinder your decision making by believing and bowing down to a false graven image of a god. So developing and refining an intellectual framework often involves exposure to diverse ideas, continual learning, and critical reflection on one's own assumption and biases, right? So graven images goes into imagination, mental perception. It's not just a physical graven image. Because even if you look at a physical graven image, psychologically, it does something to your imagination or your mental perception, right? Because the law is spiritual, right? Let's go to, matter of fact, let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 38 and verse 24. And when everybody got it, say con. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha chapter 38 and verse 24.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, also known as Sirach, chapter 38, beginning at verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity and of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise.
Right, so the wisdom of a learned man come by opportunity of leisure. Leisure is basically free time, right? You got to have free time to increase your wisdom and learning. And he that have little business shall become wise. Meaning if you're not too distracted throughout the day, or you have very little business, you're not out running errands all day, you're not, out just being busy with things, with affairs of this life, you have time to study, right? So a man that has little business, he have more time to study. And that's what you want. You want that leisure time so you can increase in your wisdom, so you can understand and grasp these spiritual things that's in this word, right? Because the law is spiritual. You must understand that spiritual means psychological. You got to understand that in order to grasp the concept. Let's go to the book of Romans chapter 7 and verse 14, right? A learned man gain wisdom by opportunity of leisure, by having a lot of free time. So if you can make time to study, if you could free up some time or consolidate some errands that you got to run, so you can have more time to study, we need to start being able to study a little bit more so we can increase in our wisdom. Instead of spending an hour and 30 minutes studying per day, try to study double that time or triple that time in a day. Even if you have to go to sleep late or wake up early, let's try to do a little bit more studying so we can increase in our wisdom. Romans chapter 7 and verse 14. When you got it, say con.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Right, for we know that the law is spiritual or the law is psychological, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Right, so the law is spiritual. Paul is insinuating that the law given by the Most High is spiritual. Why? Because the Most High is a spirit, right? The Most High created these laws, right? And the Most High is a spirit. So the law is spiritual, right? The law aims to guide our people in living according to the Most High's will and to foster a relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? When you go to John chapter 4, and I want to say verse 24, it tells you that the Most High is a spirit. And if you're going to worship him, you got to worship in spirit and in truth, right? The Most High is a spirit, right? You got to worship him in spirit and in truth. The law is spiritual. You got to keep these laws in your heart first and foremost, in your mind, in your thoughts. That's why he say, love me with all your heart, mind, and soul, and all your might. You got to love him with everything in your brain, man. Right? You got to cast down vain and evil imaginations. You got to cast down wicked imaginations that go against the laws of God. Because in your heart, you can have an imagination of stealing, right? You have to cast down that imagination. You can go into a store and a thought pop into your head, oh, I could take this and not get caught. No, you got to cast down that imagination because it opposes the will of the Most High, right? You could have a thought of adultery, a thought of bowing down to a graven image. You have to cast those imaginations down within your heart. You got to repent from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Because the law is spiritual, the law is psychological, right? So, yeah, the law is spiritual, but I am cardinal sold under sin, meaning, yeah, we want to keep these laws in our heart, but through human nature, you know, we are acceptable to sin through weakness of the flesh. Like, no matter how bad you want to be perfect at keeping the commandments, which we try, you know, we try to be perfect at keeping the commandments. Sometimes we slip up. Sometimes we give into our flesh. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, so under sin, right? There's a divine spiritual nature of the law and human conditions. You know what I'm saying? There's a divine nature, spiritual nature of the law and human conditions, right? Despite following the law, statutes, and commandments, Paul is saying that he find himself constrained by his sinful nature, right? And this struggle illustrates the power of sin over humans, over the children of Israel, and our ability to fully comply with the law through our own efforts. So we try to keep the commandments to the best of our ability, but at the same time, we are cardinal sold under sin. Sometimes our flesh, it overpowers us sometimes, man. Not saying all the time, but sometimes, you know, and we acknowledge it, we recognize it, we confess our faults when we go off. And that's what makes us perfect. Not keeping all the commandments perfectly is what makes us perfect. But when you fall short of the glory, you can acknowledge and try to turn away from it and try to eschew the evil. Right? So let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 5 and verse 1 in the Apocrypha. And when everybody got it, say con.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, also known as Sirach, chapter 5, beginning at verse 1. Set thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life.
Read.
Verse 2. Verse 2. Follow not thy own mind and thy strength, to walk in the ways of thy heart.
Right. So follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. Right. So follow not thine own mind. When evil thoughts pop into your head, don't follow those thoughts. Right. Like you know, listening to the wicked music industry, a lot of adultery is in the music, you know, and you might be around some females and you see that they married, but in your heart you still want to pursue, your flesh still want to pursue this married woman, and your mind telling you, hey, ain't nobody gonna know, you know what I'm saying, I can get at this woman and not get caught. No, don't follow thy own mind and thy strength, man, to walk in the ways of thy heart, because that's going to lead you to destruction. You're not keeping the laws in the spirit, is going to lead to a physical destruction. You got to keep the law in the spirit, because the law is spiritual. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength, right? To walk in the ways of thine heart. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 13. And these influences, those imaginations, now when you break down that word imagination, you have imagine, and then you have the word nations in there, basically going into the images of the nations or the image of the nation. Our enemies, our adversaries, their job is to have us go contrary to the law, which is spiritual, right? So our thinking, our thought process, they want our thought process to be in opposition of the commandments. While the Most High, our heritage, our culture, he created us to be in his image and his likeness, to have his mental perception. Our imagination should be on one accord with his will, and us not following our own will or the will of the other nations or the images of the other nations. We're supposed to follow the image of our creator, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten son, Yahushua. Right? Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 13, when everybody got it, say, come.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, beginning at verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
Right. So therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. Our people don't have knowledge of the commandments. They don't know that the law is spiritual. They don't know that psychologically you must keep the law in your heart, your mind, first and foremost. They don't understand that. So that's why we are in captivity right now, because we fail to understand that, hey, the law is perfect, converting the soul. You got to keep these laws in your inward parts first and foremost. It's saying their honorable men are famished. Yeah, our honorable men are famished. P. Diddy, Floyd Mayweather, your 50 Cents, right? Your mighty men that's in Israel, they are famished, meaning they're not living off the bread of life. They living off bread alone. They living off money alone. They living off food alone. They don't have the bread of life dwelling in them. They're not feasting on this word every day. They are famished, and the multitude dried up with thirst. And the rest of these entertainers, these professional basketball players, these politicians, they're dried up with thirst. They don't have the living waters, man. They just don't have the living waters. And that's who our people following and looking up to and idolizing, people that are famished, meaning they don't have the bread of life, and people that are dried up with thirst, meaning they don't have the living waters. That's why we in captivity. That's why we still in captivity, right? Because our people don't want to wake the hell up, right? They don't want to wake up and smell the coffee, man. They don't want to face the music. Let's jump to Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. The book of Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. We need to take time to study on a daily basis and increase our wisdom, increase our knowledge, and increase our understanding. We need to do that so we could feed the sheep. All right.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in Yahweh with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding.
Read.
Verse 6. Verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
Right. So trust in the Lord Yahweh with all thine heart, meaning all your mind, all your heart, mind, and soul with all your might, and lean not to your own understanding, man. And that's what we did a lot in the world. We leaned on our own understanding a lot. And it caused us to be destroyed even more and more and more, man. Because we didn't want to submit to the will of the Most High. Because we didn't even know what the will of the Most High was being in the world. We always did what we felt was right, but not what was actually right. So we got to trust in the Most High. And trust is a full-time job, man. Trust, sometimes you don't want to do it, but you got to, man. Sometimes you don't want to trust people, but you just got to. It say, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. That means with everything in you, you're supposed to trust in the Most High at all times. All right, trust is a full-time job. That's one of your services. as being a servant to the Most High. One of your services is trust. One of your services is being patient and waiting on Him. Right? One of your services is cursing the enemies. Right? We as servants of the Most High, we have jobs, man. We have occupations, we have assignments to do, and trust is one of those assignments. Trust in Yahweh with all thy heart, and lean not to thine own understanding. And in all ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. So even in the midst of you battling within yourself, when you're being afflicted in your mind, your heart, when you're being tried and tested in your mind and your heart, acknowledge the Most High, and He gonna direct your path. He gonna show you the way to go, right? Inwardly, right? He's gonna show you the thought process to have in this situation, right? Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 27. Book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 27.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 27. And he that searches the heart knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints, according to the will of Yahweh.
Right, and he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is in the mind of the Spirit. That's why spirit and mind, it coincides, because the spirit is your psyche. Your psyche is in your mind, right? And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, right? Because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High, right? So as long as we got that understanding that the law is spiritual, that your heart and your mind and your spirit is your psyche, right? That then we can make sense of what the scripture is telling us. Don't bow down to graven images, right? Do not bow down to idols. Don't worship false narratives. Don't worship false doctrines, false images, right? Don't believe the Jewish fables. Don't trust the authors of fables, man. Right? Just like Santa Claus, right? Satan Claus. You know, you've been showed that image of Santa since you was a child, and children believe that Santa exists because they see a picture of him. They believe that Santa can deliver millions of gifts in one night all over the world, because that's the doctrine that they was taught, and that's the image that they were shown, right? And they bow down and worship that image because they believe in it. They give their time and energy into that image. You know what I'm saying? But that's a false image. That's not, it's not true, man. Santa Claus don't exist, right? He can't deliver millions of presents in a night. He don't ride a sleigh with reindeers. He don't do none of that. He don't exist. It's make believe. It's fantasy. And that's what the Most High trying to show us. Everything that you imagine in your heart, it's not real. It's like watching movies, and these movies got that that CGI. The movies got that CGI, man. You know what I'm saying? The background ain't real. You see people flying in all these damn spaceships and out of space. It's all CGI. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? But we will believe that it's real because we see it with our eyes. Because seeing is believing to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Seeing is believing. So if they could see this graven image, oh, I see it. So this image must be real. I could bow down and worship. I see this Sheetamite Virgin Mary. That's Christ's mom. It's a statue right here. I see people with rosary beads. They bowing down praying to this. Oh, I could do it too. I could give life to it too. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High, you know, He wants us to do His will and not our own. He don't want us bowing down to false images. Right? Let's jump back to the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 17 and verse 11. Because that's not a part of our heritage to bow down to graven images. That's not our custom. That's the custom of the other nations, man. Ecclesiasticus 17 and verse 11. And everybody got to say con.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, also known as Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage.
Right. The Most High gave us knowledge. And He gave us the law of life for an heritage. It's not our religion. Right? We're not a religious group. Right? This is our heritage. This is our culture. This is our way of living. This word, this truth. This is our livelihoods, man. This has nothing to do with a religion. And we damn sure we're not about to bow down to all these different religions because we know the truth, right? That the Most High gave us the law of life for an heritage. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 13, Baba Kashar. Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 13. Because when we don't have knowledge, we go into captivity. Right? When we don't have the knowledge of the commandments, we go into captivity. But when we do have the knowledge, hey, that's the law of life for our heritage. Right? Jeremiah 9 and 13.
Gone. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 9, verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh saith, because thou hast forsaken my law, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein. 14. But have walked after the imagination of their own heart, and after Balaam, which their fathers taught them.
Right. And Yahweh said, because they have forsaken my law, we have forsaken our heritage to follow the different gods that's round about us, right? To follow the gods of the Canaanites, to follow the gods of the Egyptians, to follow the gods of the Assyrians, to follow the gods of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? The Baphomet, the god of transgenderism, right? Because they have forsaken my law, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, neither walked therein. The voice of the Most High comes out the word, and He speak through the mouth of His holy prophets, which been since the world began, right? We have not obeyed the voice of the Most High because we choose to bow down to graven images. We choose to bow down to Cesare Borgia. We choose to bow down to the image of the beast, man. Right? Why? Because our people have walked after the imagination of their own heart. And that's a dangerous thing to do because we know that the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it, man? The heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? But in the churches, they teach you, follow your heart, follow your heart. Whatever your heart tell you, follow your heart. But the Most High tell us something different when you read this word, man. He say, don't follow your own heart. You follow this word. Right? But our people have walked in the imagination, right? The image of the other nations of their own heart. After Balaam, which their fathers taught them. Right? Because our parents was conformed to this world. So they kind of conformed us to this world until the Most High called us and took us out the world. But our fathers, they taught us how to be obedient to the education system, how to be obedient to what we see on the news, or how to be obedient to what we see on the television. We have been programmed to obey the beast, basically, right? This beast system, it uses different operations and programs to brainwash the children of Israel. You know, psychological warfare or spiritual warfare is very real, man. Right? They have um, military support operations. They have psyops, political warfare on the hearts and the minds of the people, and propaganda that they use to war against our spirit or our imaginations, our thoughts, our visions, our dreams. They use all kind of advertisement, bombard us with all kind of wicked advertisement to put into our imagination, right? Because they know that's where it's at. That's where it's at. Your imagination, your thoughts, your heart, your spirit, your psyche. That's where the war is at. That's why I say the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. The weapons of our warfare are spiritual, man. These laws, statutes, and commandments is spiritual, right? Anytime the Most High Yahweh tell you something, or anytime the Most High Yahweh tell you to do something, you don't do it. You know, when He speak to us in visions, when He speak to us through the Word, right? When He tell you to do something, you don't do it, but instead you listen to that other voice that's in your head, and you obey that other voice, you're committing spiritual fornication. You're being rebellious. You're being lawless, because that's all it is. You hear something in your head telling you to do wickedly, and you know it's wicked. You're like, dang. You hear another voice in your head saying, don't do it, don't do it. But you pay more attention to that wicked voice. Hey, you being rebellious, man. You being rebellious. You're in violation.
So
You committing spiritual crimes against the Most High. Con, King.
no, I just wanted to bring out a good precept based on what you was talking about with the imaginations of our own hearts and not following the laws of the Most High God, which is in Baruch 1, 21 and 22. I think that kind of lines up perfectly what you were just bringing out in regards to how people not hearkening and following after their own imagination.
Con, bring that out, King.
Come, this is the book of Baruch in the Apocrypha, chapter 1, beginning at verse 21. Nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh our God, according unto all the words of the prophets, whom he sent unto us. Verse 22. But every man followed the imagination of his own wicked heart, to serve strange gods, and to do evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh our God.
Con, you want to break that down, King?
Oh, con. So yeah, man. Again, he sent our forefathers, he sent the prophets, and he sent us our instructions of what we needed to do. But we didn't want to hearken into those things. We wanted to walk out to our own sight of our own eyes and our own wicked heart. And anything that's not considered under Yahweh and his ways is serving strange God or serving wickedness and is doing evil in the sight of him. Because if it's not of his way, it's always an evil way. So we didn't want to follow him. We follow everything else but him, which is all considered equal. I'm sorry, it's like all considered evil. I yield, King.
That's absolutely right, man. Say, but every man followed the imagination of his own wicked heart. And we don't know that's why the world was destroyed the first time, man. The Most High destroyed the earth the first time with water, with the flood, because the hearts and the imaginations of man was only evil continually, right? So that's why the earth was destroyed the first time, and that's why it's going to be destroyed the second time as well, man. Because man's heart and imagination is only evil continually. Somebody say Salakia?
Yeah, that was me. I got a
Come,
precept for you.
come, bring that out, King.
First Peter chapter 2, verse 6. When everybody there say
Well,
con.
are you gonna bring it out?
Oh yeah, you can bring it out.
No, 1 Peter 2:6, correct?
Con.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
Can you read verse 7 for me?
Come on.
And 8?
Verse 7. 7 and 8. Oh, you say 7 and 8? Verse 7. Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. Verse 8. And a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
So when you read that, it's basically saying, you know, how Yahweh is the cornerstone. And when you disobedient, it shows that you're an unbeliever to him. Like that's what the brother was saying about, you know, when people choose to go off and do other things, you showing to the Most High that you're an unbeliever at that point. Because if you believe in his word, then you will be obedient. So if you disobedient to his word, then you are unbeliever. That's what the brother said earlier about how he said, I'm trying to paraphrase it. He said that he got rid of those. Uh, he had a parable. The brother said a parable about how he got rid of some. He took the word out of them and got rid of some. That the ones who did have the word, he tried them even more so they can bear good fruit. No, the trees that wasn't bearing no fruit, he got rid of, and the trees that was bearing fruit, you know, he basically had to go through more things so they can bear more fruit. Fruit. It's like it.
Yeah, he purged, even though we bearing fruit, you know, he still purges us so we could bear more fruit. You know, I know what you're saying, King. But yeah, when you don't do what the Most High say, you're being disobedient. That means you don't believe, man. That's why we got to increase our faith in this final hour. You know, when we rebel against the word and, you know, let our flesh kind of take control, that kind of diminish our faith. We're not believing in the Most High like we should. That's correct, right? But the heart is desperately wicked, man. We gotta tap into our heart. We gotta really fight within ourselves because that's where the fight is at, within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Yeah, we try to fight our brothers and sisters all day, every day, and you know, get physical with our family members, with our friends. We kind of get physical because we've been taught violence. But like I said earlier, man, that's the reason the world was flooded the first time. The reason the world was destroyed the first time, for being so damn evil in our hearts and our imagination. Let's get there. Let's go to Genesis. I think it's in the 6th chapter. Genesis chapter 6 and verse. Let me see. It's a lot.
Yeah, 5.
Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. Can you bring that out?
Come on. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 5. And God saw and Yahweh saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Right. So the Most High children in those days, we was following the other nations that was round about us, right? And that's how wickedness grew in the earth. That's how the wickedness of man became great in the earth because we was following the heathens even back then, right? And that the imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Just like now, our people that's truly in iniquity, just from when they first wake up in the morning, they thinking about, wickedness. They thinking about robbing somebody or sleeping with somebody's wife or doing drugs soon as they wake up. And then, they'll use the bathroom. Next thing you know, they going to fix them some food and it got swine in it. They eat pork sausages, bacon, right? They just woke up. All this evil is in their heart. Now they acting on the evil. Now they eat an abomination. Now they done got a phone call from one of the homies telling them, "Hey, I got a plug. I got somebody we can rob." They're like, "Okay, I'm on it. I'm on it. Let me finish up breakfast and come pick me up, and we can go do that." Now they plotting to steal. You know what I'm saying? And it's all before 10 o'clock in the morning. It's all before noon. Heart set on wickedness. The imagination of their heart is only evil continually, man. Right? And not only that, they go commit this robbery or murder. They get the money from it, and now they finna go blow the money on some strippers or some prostitutes, or they finna it's a cycle of wickedness that our people be on, man. And that's what got the world destroyed the first time, because they're trying to be like the other nations. They worshiping the images of the other nations, right? The gods of the other nations, right? Let's go. Somebody say Salakia.
Salakia, I had a precept, right?
Come on, bring it up.
Jeremiah 17:9.
Come on, bring that up, King.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? As you just demonstrated, you said, their mind is, their hearts and their mind is set on doing wicked, evil things, to our own brothers and our sisters. Continually, back then, even to this day, our hearts still set on willing to fight, shoot, or steal amongst each other in a heartbeat. Alan.
Come on. They say the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it, man? The only way to know your heart is to pray and to ask the Most High to let you know your heart, so you can be able to combat the wickedness that's in your heart. But sometimes that wickedness grows strong in our heart, man. It grows real strong in our heart. And we have to fight it. We have to fight against it. You know what I'm saying? You have to cast down those imaginations, man. Because the images of the nations gonna want you to go against the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Why the Most High, we was created in His image to do His will. Right? Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1, beginning at verse 1. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heaven and the earth.
In the beginning, Yahweh created the heaven and the earth, or Elohim, or Alahayam created the heaven and the earth, Yahweh and the angels, right? In the beginning, they created the heaven and the earth, right? Verse 26. Jump down to verse 26.
Verse 26. And Yahweh said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth,
Right.
and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Right. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. right? Let us make man in our image. This not going into a physical image. It's not going into physical appearance. This going into a mentality, a spirit, a mindset, right? Of having righteous thoughts and imaginations. That's what it's going into. It's not going into a physical image. It's going into a spiritual image that's on one accord with the Most High and the angels, right? And to prove that, we'll get it in a minute, but it says, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. Dominion is rulership, right? Dominion is rulership. And let them have dominion or rulership over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, right? So as children of the Most High, we created in his likeness and created in his image. When we are in that state of creation where we are on one accord with the Most High, like how Yahushua was, he was one with the Most High. When we in that oneness with the Most High, we have dominion over the whole earth. We have dominion over the animals. We have dominion over the fowls of the air, the fish in the sea, over all the earth, over all the nations of the earth. When we in rulership, when we in our right state of mind, when we on one accord with the law, statutes, and commandments, we have rulership over the whole planet. Verse 27, read.
Verse 27. So Yahweh created man in his own image. In the image of Yahweh, he created him. Male and female created he them.
So the Most High created man in his own image. In the image of the Most High created he him, meaning we on one accord with the Most High. Our imagination, our thought, our heart is on one accord with the Most High, and that's the way it's supposed to be at all times, right? Go to Colossians 3 and 10, so we can see what this image that he created us in, so we can get an idea of this image that he created us in. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 10.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 10. And have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
And put on the new man, so like it, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him, right? So once we're renewed in knowledge, and not just any knowledge, but knowledge of the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith of Hamashiach Yahushua, that's the image that the Most High created us in. A renewed mind, a renewed heart, according to the law, statutes, and commandments, and to the faith of Hamashiach Yahushua. Right? That's the image that we were created in. To have righteous imaginations, righteous thoughts, right? You don't want to have a thought of adultery in your heart. You know what I'm saying? You want to be one of those brothers that, you know, you want to be one of those brothers that can be around somebody rib and not pursue them, or not have adulterous thoughts while you're around they rib, man. You want to be in likeness with the Most High. You want to have morals. You want to have integrity in your heart, mind, and soul. Right? That's the likeness. That's the image of the Most High, being on one accord with the law, statutes, and commandments, not bowing down to idols, not eating abominable foods, loving your neighbor as yourself, not imagining evil against your neighbor. That's being in likeness with the Most High, or being in the image of the Most High. Right? Being a law-abiding citizen when it comes to Torah. That's the likeness of the Most High, or the image of the Most High that he created us in, right? And in order for us to get back to that way of thinking and to disconnect from this westernized mindset that we in, we got to rehearse the righteous acts. We got to study. We got to use leisure time to study. We got to be obedient to the commandments so we could be in in that likeness again, in that image of the Most High again, right? And not dwelling on wicked and vain imaginations, right? The image of the nations, worshiping their gods, following their ways. All of it's vain and pointless. You know what I'm saying? There's no redemption or salvation, and there's no remedy in serving their gods, right? So we got to get back to the likeness of the Most High and the image of the Most High, the imagination of the Most High, right? We in captivity because we don't have that knowledge. Why are we in captivity? Why? Because we choose to follow the images or the imaginations of the heathen nations, man. That's why we in the state we in right now. Let's go to Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 54. Baba Kashar.
Oh, so like I had a precept Colossians 3:10.
Khan, bring that out, King.
Ephesians 4, 23, 24.
Khan. Ephesians 4.
Yeah, 23, 4, 23.
Khan.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, beginning at verse 23. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Verse 24. And that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness. See right there. You got it, King.
Salaki, King. I was going to say jump up to 22 and read down to 27.
Ephesians chapter 4, beginning at verse 22 through 27. That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts.
Right.
23.
So the Salaki, the former conversation of the old man is a representation of Hellenistic ways or heathen ways that we used to go by regarding the flesh, because our old man was influenced by Babylon, was influenced by America, right? That old man was molded and shaped through our experience here in Babylon, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, right? The deceitful lust started in our heart. Lust is conceived in the mind first, right? Read.
And verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. 24, and that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness. 25.
Right. Salaki. So it say, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Your spirit is your psyche. Your psyche is of the mind. Be renewed in the spirit of your mind, right? And that ye put on the new man. The new man is a law-abiding citizen according to Torah, man. The new man is the image of the Most High, in which he originally created us to be, in his image, right? Which after the Most High is created in righteousness and true holiness, true set apartness. Read.
25. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. 26. Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. 27. Neither give place to the devil.
Right. So we are to put away lying, because that's a custom of the heathen nations, is to bear false witness, to lie, to create false gods that don't exist, to be authors of fables, right? To be master deceivers. We got to put that stuff away and speak truth. Speak truth about the one true living God, man, the one true living power. It say, be ye angry and sin not, and let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. See, that's a mentality that we must have. Psychologically, we must have this mentality, right? To be angry, but don't transgress the law. You could be angry, but don't transgress the law. Keep the commandments still while you mad. Still keep the commandments. Don't have hatred in your heart for your neighbor, right? Don't have malice or jealousy in your heart for your neighbor while you mad. Don't let the sun go down upon your wrath. I know that tonight, if I was angry during the day, I know that by the time it's starting a new day at sundown, I gotta let all that go, man. I gotta renew my mercies, or I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna build up resentment and begin to hold a grudge against my people if I don't let this wrath go. And that's the image of the Most High. That's the imagination of the Most High, right? And His heart, mind, and soul. He wants you to, hey, let it go. Don't let the sun go down upon your wrath, man. Your mercy should be new every day, like my mercies are new every day. The Most High mercies are new every day. Our mercy should be new every day, man. We should be a forgiving people like we normally is, right? Read verse 28.
Verse 28, Ephesians 4, verse 28. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give him that needeth.
Right. So this goes into image or imaginations, because like rappers and entertainers, they try to portray an image, for the public. They try to build up a nice image in the public eye, but behind closed doors, they be completely different people. Just like your boy P Diddy. In the public eye, he try to look as if he's this mega mogul producer and he does nothing wrong, but behind closed doors, his image has been tainted because we see what he do behind closed doors, right? So going into the image of the Most High, it says, "Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor." That's the image of the Most High, laboring. You don't have to be out here in these streets stealing, man. Work with your hands and earn. Don't take, but earn. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that the Most High created us to be. We are laborers. We work for what we want. We don't have to steal. We don't have to rob. We don't have to kill for what we need. Unlike these other nations, man. Esau, Edom, he'll rape, rob, and murder the whole earth to get what he wants. We are not to be conformed to the images of the other nations, but to be conformed to the image of our Creator. Right? Let him that steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. So you want to be in a position, the Most High say, hey, you should be in a position where you laboring with your hands, you earning stuff, you're not taking nothing. You don't have to live looking over your shoulders, right? You don't have to worry about the payback from all the punks that you roughed up way back. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about none of that, right? But you want to labor with your hands, so if somebody is in need, you can give them something that's not cursed, right? You can give them something that won't diminish from them. A lot of people, they like to sell drugs. A lot of our people like to rob and steal, and then when they get the money, they want to give it to their mama. They want to donate some money to charity over here, or give a homeless person some money. That's wicked. That's wicked funds that you handing out, man. Some old school parents, they won't even take that drug money from you. No, you keep your money. We don't want none of that drug money. It got blood on it. You know what I'm saying? So you wanna be in the image of the Most High, where you're doing what's right. You laboring, you getting money the right way. You're not doing no illegal stuff to make money. You're not looking over your shoulder, and you got something to give if somebody need it. Right? That's the image of the Most High. Right? Read verse 29.
Verse 29. Let no corruption, Salaki. Ephesians 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to you of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
Right, and that's the image of the Most High. Not letting no corrupt communication proceed out your mouth. Right, that's the image that He created us in. We're not supposed to be around here speaking corrupt things to one another, to our people. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got this. Our people be scheming and plotting. They'll approach you with a scenario like, "Hey, man, I just got this credit card device. Well, all we got to do is get these gift cards out the store. You got to go steal the gift cards, and we could swipe them and put money on them." That's corrupt communication, man. Don't let corrupt communication proceed out your mouth. That's not of the Most High. But unlike these heathens, all they do is speak vile and corrupt. You can see it in the movies that they create. You know what I'm saying? You watching a movie and you hear a Edomite just say some wicked stuff, man, out of nowhere. That's corrupt communication. And they want us to laugh at it and think it's funny and think it's cool that they speaking like this in the movies. Like you have to cut the movie off. You watching it with your family, and now they done said some corrupt things, and now you gotta cut the movie off. That's not of our culture. That's not of our heritage. Right? The law of life is our heritage, and we don't speak corrupt things to one another. They say, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Right? So there's an image that the other nations want us to be in, which is a wicked image. Right? They want us to be at the bottom of society. They want us to be known as predators, as rapists, as beasts. They want us to be known as niggas, spicks, right? They want us to be known as all these proverbs and bywords, but they don't want us to be known as the chosen people, as the true Hebrew Israelites. They don't want us to be known as that. They don't want us to be known as the image of the living power, right? But we got to fight for our heritage, and we got to fight for our inheritance, which is this whole entire planet, man, this whole entire earth. This is our inheritance. These heathens are our inheritance, right? We fighting for rulership, so we got to conform back to the image of the Most High, and disregard the images of the nations, right? We can't continue to bow down to this beast system on a daily basis, right? The Most High have reserved thousands of men that's not gonna bow the knee to Baal, man. Right? Roughly paraphrasing, we're not gonna continue to bow down to this beast system. Right? Let's jump to 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 54. Book of 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 54. When everybody got it, say Khan.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, beginning at verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Right, so all the nations on the planet Earth, all 18 nations come out of Adam. Even the chosen people, even us Hebrew Israelites, we all come out of Adam. Moab come out of Adam. Ishmael come out of Adam. The Canaanites, the Egyptians, the Assyrians, all the heathen nations, and then the chosen nation, we all come out of Adam. Read.
55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sakes. 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Right. So
50,
the Most High made the world for our sakes, and he said that these heathens, they ain't nothing, man. They be like unto spittle, man. He made the world for our sakes, for us to have rulership and dominion over the whole earth. And these heathens, they ain't nothing, man. Right? Verse 57, read.
57. And now, O Yahweh, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us.
Right. So these heathen nations, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. They started devouring us, you know, inwardly first, with our imaginations, with our thought process, with our decision making and our critical thinking. They start devouring us when they set up their altars and their graven images and got us to believe, psychologically got us to believe in those images. That's when they began to devour us. When they start manipulating us to go off and transgress the laws of the Most High. Right? Verse 58, read.
58. But we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, and given into their hands. 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure?
Right. So these heathen nations have begun to be lords over us and have rulership and dominion over us because we chose to follow their ways and be in the likeness of their image instead of the likeness of the image of the Most High. Meaning we chose to break the laws of God instead of keeping the commandments. We chose to follow the ways of the heathen instead of following that straight and narrow path that the Most High sent us on. Right? It says, if the world now be made for our sakes, because in Genesis, the Most High said that we supposed to have dominion over the whole earth, the children of Israel. The world was made for our sakes. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Right? The reason that we don't possess an inheritance with the world at the current moment is because we chose to follow the ways of the heathen. We chose to forsake his laws, right? We are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. These people have begun to be lords over us, and now they devour us at every chance they get. They degrade us, they embarrass us, they belittle us, they call us devils, they give us all kind of proverbs and bywords for an identity. They stole our heritage. They claim to be the people of the book. They destroy our imagination. They make us depressed through fame and false glory, vain glory. They have completely destroyed us. They have completely devoured us, man, because we try to be like them instead of being our true selves. A lot of our people are playing a character. That's not who they truly are. They trying to be this great basketball player. They trying to be this great entertainer or this great kingpin, right? But that's not their heritage. That's not their true identity. They trying to be something that they see on television, or they done seen some type of advertisement, or they done seen a group of people worshiping the dollar bill, so now they worship the dollar bill, right? They playing a character that's not truly they self. Your true self is keeping these commandments and keeping the faith, man. Being obedient to the word of the Most High, walking in light and not darkness. That's your true character. Your true character is not twerking for Instagram. Your true character isn't rolling up blunts all day and smoking weed all day. That's not your true character. Your true character is providing for your household, building up your family in his word, keeping the high holy days, loving your neighbor as yourself. That's your true character. Following Hamashiach, Yahushua to the fullest potential. That's your true character. Utilizing your spiritual gifts, rebuking your people when they go off, exalting your people when they do right. That's our true nature. That's our true character. That's the image of the Most High, right? But going into these images and thoughts and imagination, it get deep, man. It get deep. Let's go to Genesis chapter 8 and verse 21. I got a few more precepts and I'm gonna close out.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 8, verse 21. And Yahweh smelled a sweet savior. And the Lord Yahweh said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done.
Right. So the Most High say he's not gonna curse the ground no more for man's sake, because the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. From a baby, man, we get programmed to have evil thoughts, through the education system, through the television, entertainment, media, and being a product of our environment, what we see on a daily basis in our communities. We are programmed to have evil thoughts. That's why he say the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? Because your heart grew up in a system, in a beast system that promotes wickedness on a daily basis, all day, every day. Wickedness is being promoted throughout Babylon. So our imagination be evil since our youth, man. Right? Let's jump to Deuteronomy 31 and 21. When everybody got it, say Khan. Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 21.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 21. And it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befalling them, that this son shall testify against them as a witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imagination which they go about, even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear.
Right. So it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befallen of them, that this song shall testify against them as a witness. Right? Because the Most High know our imaginations and which way we go about, man. He know the Most High. He not just looking in the realm of things like we look at things. We only really looking at the physical. Not all of us, but most of us. We only looking at physical things. We're not tapping into the spirit like that. The Most High, he see our thoughts, our imaginations. He see when we feed into a wicked imaginations. He see when we cast down a wicked imagination, right? He see what we thinking. The Most High he on a whole nother level, in a whole nother realm of vision, right? So the Most High know what we think in our hearts. He know what we meditate on in our mind, right? He know what wicked seeds get planted into our head, when they got planted, how they got planted. He know when we don't hew down those wicked thoughts in our mind. He know, because he looking at the inward. It say, for it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed, for I know their imagination with which they go about, even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear. So even before the Most High brought us into the promised land, he knew what was on the minds, heart, and soul of our people, because he's looking on the inward parts, right? Let's go to the book of First Chronicles, chapter 28 and verse 9. And we got to keep that into consideration when we just sit there and think about wicked things. Those intrusive thoughts that pop into our head out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You be chilling, you be vibing, having a good, good spirit about yourself, and then out of nowhere, darkness cover your mind. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it be strong, sometimes it's hard to fight against and resist, but we got to fight, man. We got to fight. We got to be able to identify it, though. First, we got to be able to identify when an evil thought pop into our head. Okay, this is a wicked thought. This goes against the commandments of the Most High. Why is this in my head right now? You gotta do your best to cast it down. Cast down that vain imagination. Cast down evil imaginations. Fear not the imaginations that's against you. You know what I'm saying? You got to cast them down, or do your best. Read precepts. Confess your faults to your brethren. Right? Pray to the Most High. Fast. You gotta do everything in your power and might to get rid of the image of those other nations, those imaginations. Right? First Chronicles 28 and 9.
This is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 20. Oh, shit. Slocky, yeah, you said 2089?
Khan, King Khan.
Oh, Slocky. This is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 28, and verse 9. And thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord Yahweh searcheth all hearts, and understandeth all the imagination of the thoughts. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever.
Right. So the Most High say, know thou the God of thy father. And you know the Most High by keeping his commandment, by studying the laws and applying them to your life. And serve him with a perfect heart, right? With a perfect heart. Having a perfect heart is studying the commandments, applying the commandments to your life, and acknowledging your faults when you fall short of the glory. That's having a perfect heart. Acknowledging your faults when you fall short of the glory and getting back up and turning away from the evil. That's having a perfect heart. And with a willing mind, you have to have a willing mind to serve the Most High in truth and sincerity, man. You got to be willing to do so, right? For the Lord Yahweh searcheth all hearts and understandeth all the imaginations of thoughts. Because Yahweh, who the word ignorantly calls Christ, he created the seen and the unseen, right? The seen is the physical world, the unseen is the spiritual world, the psychological world, right? And that's how deep, creation goes. There's a physical realm that you see with your eyes, and there's a spiritual realm that you see with your spiritual eyes, right? Your thoughts and imagination. Like right now, you might be in a household with your family. You can't, yourself with your own two eyes see what's in the minds of your people, the thoughts and the imaginations that they have in at the exact moment that they have. But you can see yours though. You can see your own thoughts and imaginations within your head, within your heart, within your mind. You could see it as well as the Most High. He could see it too. He see what you battling with in your mind. He see what you battling with in your spirit, your thoughts. He see it, right? Because he says, and understandeth all the imaginations of the thoughts. The Most High know. He created it. He allowed Yahweh to create it, right? The seen and the unseen. Yahweh created the seen, the physical realm, and the unseen. seek him out the book and read, he will be found of you. But if you forsake him, if you forsake the commandments, he will cast thee off forever. Right? Let me see. Let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 18. Salakia, go back to Salakia, go back to First Chronicles. We're gonna jump to chapter 29 and verse 18. First Chronicles chapter 29 and verse 18.
This is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 18. So, First Chronicles 29, 18. O Lord, Yahweh God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, our fathers, kept this forever in their imagination of the thoughts of the heart of thy people, and prepare their heart unto thee.
Right, O Yahweh of Abraham, Isaac, of Abraham, Isaac, and of Salakia. O Yahweh, power of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, our fathers, keep this forever in the imagination of the thoughts of the heart of thy people, and prepare their heart unto thee. So that's what we got to do for our people right now, man. We got to bring remembrance of our forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. And we got to keep these scriptures, these law, statutes, and commandments forever in our imaginations of our thoughts, right? Because the Most High said he going to make a new covenant with us where he write his law in our inward parts, meaning he going to have these law, statutes, and commandments in our spirit, in our thought process all day, 24/7. You just don't understand that it's people walking on this earth without these laws in their head. They have no laws, statutes, and commandments in their heart. They just living. They don't have no guidance. They don't have no moral code. They don't have no integrity. They walking around completely lawless. They don't have no laws in their head. Right? But we got to keep these things in remembrance. Right? We got to keep the imaginations of our thoughts, of the heart of thy people, and prepare their heart unto thee. We got to prepare our people's heart back to the Most High. Right? So, yeah, the importance of our imagination, man, is very important. The importance of our imagination is critical to our salvation. Don't ever let somebody tell you that your imagination ain't important, because that's what our adversaries been playing on since we came out the womb, man. They've been playing on our imagination, using our own imagination against us to fear them, to fear false gods, to fear man. Right? They've been using our imagination against us, but now it's time to redeem our thoughts, our imaginations, and fight in righteousness, fight for the kingdom within ourselves. Right? If this intrusive thought pop into my head that go against the Most High, I got to cast it down. Right? I'm gonna close out with Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 18. Let's get Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 18.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 18. What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof hath graven it? The molten image, and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein, to make dumb idols.
Right. So this is why we in captivity, because we hearken to those teachers of lies. We worship those graven images, those vain imaginations. Right. That's why we in the position we in right now. What profited the graven image that the maker thereof have graven it? There's no profit in it. Only captivity and punishment and destruction of our people. right? The molten image and a teacher of lies, because the people that create these graven images, these nations that create these graven images, they are teachers of lies. Behind those images, especially those spiritual images, those imaginations in your mind, are a result of deception. They're teachers of lies. They deceive you. You are deceived in your heart first. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they aim for, to deceive you, your heart. They are teachers of lies, that the maker of his work. Now that word work is really imaginations, because it's the same Strongs as the rest of the Strongs that we use for the word imaginations in the previous precepts. The Strong is H3336. And when you see the maker of his work, that's the maker of his imagination trusted therein to make dumb idols. So these people trust in their evil imaginations, and they put it out into reality, into the physical realm, to get our people to believe this this false teaching, or this dumb idol, right? I could, like I said with the water bottle, I could take an idea in my mind, a wicked idea, and put it on, and create it and put it in the physical realm, and get people to worship uh uh deception. People are worshiping dumb idols, graven images, deception. It started out as a fairy tale. It started out as make-believe. I put it in the physical realm, like Santa Claus. Santa Claus started out as an idea in somebody's head, physical appearance, and there you have it. Now people worshiping damn Santa Claus. There's no difference. But yeah, we got to be mindful of our thoughts, of our imaginations. We got to get our imaginations back on one accord with the image of the Most High, and do away with the image of the other nations. Repent, keep the commandments, convert our people back to the law, statutes, and commandments, bid them to the marriage supper of the Lamb, and really explain to them the importance of their imagination, and how to decipher different thoughts and imaginations that go against the Most High. Have that spiritual discernment to be able to recognize, okay, this thought go against the Most High. I can't be thinking like this. This thought right here go against the Most High. I can't think like this. We got to teach our people the importance of their heart, of their imagination. And we just got to, do better as a nation of people, unify more. The best way to teach somebody is to lead by example. Let them see you really rehearsing the righteous acts. Let them see your actions and your deeds. You ain't always got to talk about, what you're doing. Sometimes it's best to just show people. Right. So yeah, that concludes the class, man. If anybody have any questions or anything they want to bring out, feel free to do so. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Well, all praises to the Most High. Yeah, that concludes this Thursday night class, man. I pray brothers and sisters was edified. Like the elder always say, if I taught you one thing, or if you learned one thing, I did my job. It's always good to reiterate these scriptures so you can stay in the spirit as much as possible. And Kwam Yasharal.
Gone.
All praises. You gonna pray us out, King?
Khan. Yeah, we
Hey,
can
King. I'm not sure if you had called. We'll need to turn the pages, but I probably had I didn't hear you or I stepped away or something, so I apologize for that. Okay.
Con, it's all good, King. It's too wild, King. But yeah, we're gonna close out in prayer. Um, and close out in the Lord's Prayer. Everybody face the east. Get into a comfortable position to pray in. I'll give us like 15 seconds and we can close out in prayer, man, so you can enjoy the rest of your evening. And we're going to close out in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Abanawa Yahweh, the water for bringing us together on this Thursday evening to get edified in your word, your truth, in your image, your ways. Heavenly Father, we ask that you continue to purge us, that we may bring forth more fruit. We ask that you continue to increase our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so we can better feed the sheep and be a shepherd over our people. Heavenly Father, we have compassion over our people because we know that a lot of them don't have shepherds. There's not many brothers and sisters being edified in your truth in these last days, but we pray that your word can go out to the four corners of the earth and the chosen, the 1/3, the hopeful elect turn back to this word so you could bring death, destruction to our adversaries and our enemies. Destroy our adversaries and our enemies and save us, Heavenly Father. In Yahweh's name we pray. Hallelujah. Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yashara.
Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.